You can create a Coinbase or Binance or Block or Cash App or Apple Pay or Google Pay, and you can put functionality in a layer 3 where a corporation is responsible for compliance and they're the custodian. And that, you can do flash loans to 100,000 counterparties using a centralized corporation and organization, and you still get the benefit of moving the money fast. You don't need a token to do it. So I think a lot of the crypto world is attempting to achieve layer 2, layer 3, layer 4 functionality using layer 1 tokens. And the problem they've got is they're inadvertently creating unregistered securities, and that puts them crosswise with the regulators. If you have an example of how to create a digital commodity, Satoshi said it. That is, make it simple, be modest, no pre-mine, no ICO, right? Give it to the world, get out of the way. If you wanted to create a competitor to Bitcoin, then whoever launches it needs to not benefit from it. You need to participate pari passu on the same basis as everybody else. And what you have with Bitcoin is you have 2 additional facts, which are extraordinary facts. There's no pre-mine, there's no ICO, but third, it traded without any economic value till pizza day for 500 days. So that's a very special fact, an immaculate conception, because there was no immediate profit motive because there was no value. It was literally a hobby. And then the other fact is that Satoshi never touched his coins. The million Satoshi coins were left as a gift to the world. So the founder said, I'm going to launch this, I'm giving it to you, and I'm not going to benefit from it. So that was launched as an egalitarian, decentralized, open protocol. There are other open protocols, Linux, right? There's plenty of open protocols in the computer science world, like Linus Torvalds is not a 10 billionaire, right? I mean, he didn't get 10% royalty on everything. And if you charged a royalty or kept control of your open protocol, it probably wouldn't be a successful protocol. So I think that the real key here is there's a lot of people in the crypto world that they really lost focus on what makes something open and permissionless and egalitarian. And they're pursuing this as though they were software entrepreneurs. And you kind of want to have your cake and eat it too. I want to launch a software company and skip the IPO and go and sell stuff to the public, but I don't want to have to comply with securities laws. And there's good reasons for, complying with them. Like, even when you think you've told the world, everything they need to know, you probably haven't. Right? That I employ 100 accountants and lawyers in a very simple business to make sure that we explain to people the consequences of what we've done. It's a lot of effort to explain to people the risk factors. There are thousands and thousands of pages of risk factors and financial disclosures for someone to figure out whether they want to take a risk on a security. And the crypto world wants something different, but I think fundamentally, you're only going to be able to achieve a very humble, a very conservative set of engineering goals with a truly decentralized asset. If you come up with, slashing and sharding and staking and, and smart contracts and you keep going with thing after thing after thing after thing after thing, you end up with millions and millions of lines of code. And that means there's no way that 100 different organizations can all keep track of that and maintain that. And you can't update that much code in a decentralized, universal consensus process. So you end up with a centralized organization. And the centralized organization creates an investment contract. And the investment contract it's not just a legal quandary or a regulatory quandary. Like, oh yeah, I'm selling an unregistered security on an unregulated exchange. That's a quandary, yeah. But forget about that. There's an ethical quandary, which is you created something you're selling to the general public, but you haven't disclosed to them the risk factors, right? And everything they need to know. And so it's unfair and it's not equitable. And ultimately it's not neutral, because if you've got a company or a small group of people that control the protocol, they're subject to coercion. Right? You don't really want to trust your life savings for the next 100 years to a company that's headquartered in Zimbabwe, do you? Or in China or in North Korea, right? I mean, like, the reason you trust pork bellies and a barrel of gasoline is the opinions of a politician halfway around the world won't rob you of your food and your heat. So we're trying to create a digital commodity here, digital energy, encrypted energy. Take away the energy, it's not a commodity. And if you centralize it by having a small group of people that are programming it and reprogramming it constantly, it's also not a commodity, it's company. And companies, I mean, if Twitter doesn't like what you say, something happens. If YouTube doesn't like what you say, something happens. If Alibaba or WeChat doesn't like what you say, something happens. They're like, companies are not commodities. And so that's what I think about that. I think the world is starting to understand this better. A lot of the people in the crypto community just need to be better educated. I think the meltdown of Terra and Luna was a painful education, Brian. Like, what's the difference between just putting $20 billion into UST versus $20 billion into Circle versus 20 billion into Bitcoin? Well, now you know, right? Right? I mean, if you put 20 billion into something that's backed by nothing, it can go to zero overnight. So now you have people saying, "Wow, they didn't tell us this. Maybe I should have had more disclosures." That's the whole point, right? So it's a difficult time, because on one hand, the crypto ethos is libertarian and freedom oriented, and in some context, the regulators are on the wrong side of history. But on the other hand, when someone actually mints $1 billion worth of a penny stock in a boiler room and dumps it on the general public and it goes to zero the next month, on that side, the regulators are on the good side, right? Like there are transgressions that we need to manage, and in a lawless society, maybe you've got freedom, but if your neighbor can come across the street and club you in the head and take all your stuff, that's not better either. So I think that the industry needs to grow up, and hopefully we'll find some yin and yang. Like, you find some balance. I think you can do good work, open, permissionless, non-custodial. You can do it. People in the Lightning ecosystem are doing it, but people in the open source community and the cypherpunk community are doing it too. You can cut corners. You can create great companies. It's a struggle to comply with all the laws in a given country, and that's why a lot of times companies don't offer their services outside of a few jurisdictions. It's a struggle. You can do it. And I think the most important thing is everybody's got to be aware. Like, if you're in the crypto industry, you have to understand securities law, and you have to understand the ethical basis. I mean, too often we dismiss this. The crypto bros are like, "Oh, that's like antiquated law." Well, the part about don't lie, cheat, and steal, that's not antiquated. That's human nature. And so you have to understand the ethical underpinnings of the ecosystem. You have to be thinking very hard about that. And, Satoshi understood it. There's a reason that Satoshi disappeared and never moved the coins.
Hey, do you want to profit from crypto? Then join my DeFi Academy. The Crypto DeFi Academy will help you create generational wealth. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my students.
When I first got into crypto, I remember thinking to myself, I need to learn more. Brian Rose, learning crypto, learning DeFi, gotta do it.
I am so grateful that I jumped in and did this. I had to break through some limiting beliefs that I can do this, that I can afford this, that I can be in this.
It challenges the things that are deeply rooted within us.
Joining DeFi Academy has been one of the best decisions I have made on my blockchain journey.
This course was a life changer, a game changer, a huge eye-opener, coming from knowing practically nothing at the speed of the learning over 4 weeks was just fantastic.
The information you provided in this class was invaluable.
I feel far more confident in my next steps.
You took complex concepts and made them easier to understand.
What's different than so many other ones is it just doesn't tell you what to do. It actually makes you do it.
This is for people who are serious about becoming traders. This is the way it should be done.
I realized from this learning experience again that it is not about what you learn, but about who you learn it from.
The energy was insane. I've never experienced such incredible energy on a live call. Brian Rose, you are a legend, my friend.
It's the only thing in the market where you can get all information and learn everything what you need to know.
Everything is so clear and so well done, and I'm just forever grateful for this program.
It made me feel so much more confident about crypto than I did before.
I did not anticipate how passionate I was going to become about it.
It's also been like a big learning experience for me, not just in the crypto space, but just in overall balance of life.
What I've learned is, how to take ownership, of my life in a way that I really hadn't before.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, really.
I would recommend it to anybody, top notch.
Excellence does not come cheap. So if you want excellence, you got to pay for it, but it's so worth it.
Pull the trigger. That's what this course is about.
You're not going to regret it, really. It's amazing.
Thank you, Brian and team.
So what are you waiting for? Crypto is happening now. Click the link below, submit your application, and let me mentor you on how to create generational wealth and build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future.